Social networking. Well, I think it really depends on who you are, what it is that you want to accomplish. If you're an individual, I think the future of social networking could be, in fact, the very opportunity for you to stop worrying about the economic slump and whether you're actually going to be part of the stimulus package or not, and actually start thinking about all of those things that you've always wanted to do if you had that chance. So if you've always wanted to start a business, you always thought that you had that entrepreneurial spirit, but perhaps your best friend is better at it than you, this is a great opportunity for you guys to team up and to work together. I think that the entrepreneurial spirit that's made possible through social networking tools because of the low barriers to entry mean that we're going to see more and more people actually taking that plunge both on a local, national, and an international level. That's one of the things that I see in the future. I think that's one of the things that's actually going to enable our children to realize that they don't have to necessarily work for the man, that they too can start companies a la Google and Facebook or whatever they might be in the future. Especially when you start thinking about the number of people that are learning how to program in schools. So those third-party applications that you're seeing on your iPhone as well as on Facebook, a lot of them are being created by people that are taking 10-week classes. They cost a few $100s. There are some free applications online that actually enable you to create your own application, and that's absolutely free. There are so many different ways to think about the future of social networking, especially on a global level. When I think of developing countries, I think that we're going to be seeing a real surge in terms of the technology that's coming out of developing countries, but also the uses. I think that we in North America and in Europe tend to think about all of the grand things that we can do if we get together and all of the amazing money generators that we can create by utilizing social networks. But there are some really basic things that you can learn just walking down the street in India, some really simple applications of a wheel, for example, that can turn into a motor without necessarily doing a whole lot. And all of those blueprints are now made available online that you can download onto your mobile phone for free. And boom, all of a sudden you don't have to go out and buy that product or service. You can actually make it yourself with the resources that you have at home. And I think that we're going to be seeing more and more of that, where inventors are going to be using open source to be able to share their ideas. And instead of that being considered a loss leader, on the contrary, that's essentially the core of who they are. And then people are going to come to them and say, oh, that was such a great idea. What would you do if you had this other type of resource? And that's where they're going to be making their money. So there are a lot of different business models that are coming out of the future of social networking. But the best part is that we get to co-create it together. It's no longer a top-down process where we've got the usual suspects that are deciding this is the way that the economy is going to be driven, this is the way that a company needs to be built, this is the way that a political system needs to go, or an educational system for that matter. The beauty of the future of social networks is that we get to decide together. So this is your opportunity to make that decision and let your voice be heard.